morning. It's the morning DNA for, what is it?
I don't
July
know.
5th, 2021. I am Aaron Dyster, the man of single black shirt. She is Danae Hughes, the woman of a million distractions, and we're here to find out what this beautiful day is made of, aside from 4th of July hangover.
Yeah.
Aside from that.
100%. I've got that. I haven't spoken yet this morning, so I sound like a man today. And I just got out of the shower, so I'm feeling like extra loopy. I took a way too hot shower, the kind that makes you a little dizzy. So I'm like, hey guys, good morning. Woo!
Now, if you don't know, I will go ahead and brag on Danae a little bit because I was there yesterday. Danae hosted like 24 people at her home throughout the 4th of July celebration, and you were on top of it. Like, you were helping everybody with everything, getting food out, getting dishes in the dishwasher, unloading dishes, then getting more dishes in the dishwasher. Like, you were just like
insane.
You were insane host woman, and it was incredible and absolutely astonishing. So great job.
Hey. Thank you. Yeah, it was astonishing. I am amazed at what I'm capable of. I feel like I was actually like 4 or 5 people at the same time.
Yeah.
It was the first party get together that we've had official. We've had maybe like 5 people over tops before, and they were family for like a Christmas celebration.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what, we have wanted to have a gathering of some kind for like 6 or 7 years now, but we lived out in a different city for so long, and having everyone drive out there is just, people don't want to drive 35, 40 miles to go hang out sometimes. And I super get it.
Right.
But we're closer now. And then we haven't been able to have anyone over because of pandemic. So we had a fully vaccinated 4th of July celebration yesterday. And it was a come and go as you please all day long. So I think people started showing up around, well, we have guests that are staying here with us. And then we had people start showing up around, I want to say like 1:30 or 2 for lunch. And so we were cooking burgers and stuff for lunch. And then, of course, when dinner came around, it was another round of food and trips over to the pool and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, it was a very activity-filled day. But it felt really good to serve people, I guess. We just haven't had a chance to do that. We haven't had a chance to. And when we went to bed last night, it was genuinely like, we did it. We did that. Nonstop. I did not sit down for more than 5 minutes all day long.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you, my body loves me and hates me at the same time. I feel really strong. Like, wow, I did that, body. And then my body's also like, God, why? So
what have you done?
What did you do to me? But I do have to say, Justin did a fantastic job because he did all the shopping, and he messaged my dad to ask my dad how to find the perfect watermelon. Because it's always a thing. You can't see inside. You don't know what it is.
You don't have watermelon x-ray vision?
Yeah, and my dad was like, "Oh, go to like one of those shops on the kiosks on the side of the road thing where they sell fresh produce, and ask them." And also something about knocking on it and listening for an answer. Mm-hmm. Are you delicious?
Hello? Please don't eat me. I'm a living thing. I'm sentient.
Oh my God, it was such a good watermelon. He did fantastic.
Yeah. I know it was good because the second I walked in the door, your lovely daughter was like, Aaron, you going to try the watermelon? You going to try the watermelon?
Yeah, it was really freaking good.
Eat a piece of watermelon. There's watermelon. Eat a piece.
I had to do the thing at the end of the day where I was like, okay, I have this massive melon and we've only eaten part of it. Mm-hmm. So then I had to find a container large enough. And it was at the end of the day, I was exhausted, but wanting to get the kitchen back to normal. So in the morning, it felt like a normal house again. Mm-hmm. So we were kind of determined. We're like co-tackling the kitchen. Iris literally passed out on the floor. Hardwood floor. She's just laying on the floor, just totally asleep.
I believe it.
And I found a container, and I'm doing the thing where you take the cut up pieces of watermelon and you put them in the container. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to kind of arrange them to where they're in a decent order or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm cutting up the rest of the watermelon to try to make it match shape in the container. Mm-hmm. But then I'm also realizing I'm going to run out of room. So I just start scooping raw melon and just slapping it into the container. And then at the very end, I take the lid and just pressed it on top.
It's not a great
just
thing
to
with watermelon,
push it.
though.
It was there was a little bit of give because it was.
There was a little bit of squishiness. I don't know what's going to happen when I open it up, but
It did this little thing. And then at the bottom, the juices, because it's a clear container and you can see the juices begin. So I have
yeah,
watermelon
just 'cause it starts
juice.
rising because you close
Yeah,
it.
100%. It was fantastic, and I loved it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to come over and,
Yeah, no,
and
it was really
experience
fun.
it. We'll talk more about it soon because I think
Yeah.
that's part of your topic and my topic.
I believe it. I believe it is. I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
I did have an interesting experience yesterday with a mutual UK friend, where he texted me "Happy Treason Day" yesterday, and I texted back, "Thanks. I'll pour some tea down the sink in your honor."
Oh shoot! Did you? We had tea.
You did have tea.
We should have.
I
We
didn't
should have
waste
sent.
it.
Yeah, we should have had a moment. We should have sent him a video just
Yeah.
pouring tea.
That would have been great. That would have been great. Well, you want to shoot a dough? Want to
Yeah,
get into
let's
it? All right.
Well,
so
wait.
okay. No, you're fine. You're fine. You
I
said
know.
yes.
we've
Take it
got
back. Feel free.
I know.
You
I
do
do it all the
whatever.
time. I do that all the time. I do want to hear at the top of the show, podcast listeners, just something you have to endure. Hi, chat. Hi, live chat. It's good to see you. We have all kinds of people that are popping in, and I just wanted to say hi to them all.
It is nice. It is one of those wonderful things doing the show live, and there are still people who listen to this as a podcast only. We totally understand that. We know that we kind of see this as a weekly or sometimes more than weekly video show now, and that the podcast is kind of an arm of that. But it is really cool to pop in here and just see everybody come, hang out. So yeah. Including said UK friend who apparently is
said
hanging out
UK
with
friend
us.
is on my Twitch right now. If anyone wants to pop on a Twitch and give that man some crap, be great.
So there you go.
Be great.
We're going to do the DNA and U. We'll have a D topic and an A topic and as many U topics as we want to get through. So Danae's going to present a topic. That's the D topic. I'm going to present a topic. That's the A topic. And then you can ask us any questions you want, offer any topics you have that you would want to discuss with us. And we will do our best to get to as many as we can towards the end of the show. But Danae gets to start us off. Danae, what is your topic for today?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. Although I do feel bad because Ian
not
walked in on the tail
unexpected.
end. Ian walked in on the tail end of that. We were giving you crap because of the text that you sent to Aaron yesterday. We literally just said that, and then you shut up in chat. So
Yeah, it was
That's what
really a
that's about.
weird Candyman situation. We mentioned your name and then you appeared. So yes, anyhow, we were saying we should pour some tea down
Sorry
the
about
sink.
that.
Pour some
A
tea.
little-
Shot a video of pouring some tea down the sink and send it to you. Yeah.
Yep. Sorry about that, Aaron. Okay, my topic is the same exact thing I talked about last week, except for it's about hosting a party of 22 people. Yay!
You didn't even change the text.
No, because it literally is the same freaking thing.
We'll talk about it then.
I think so. I thought last week I was really proud of myself about something that I couldn't top. I don't know where my topic went. It just went away.
I got it.
Oh, okay. But then are you changing it? You're changing it. I know you, and I know that smirk. You're doing something. What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything. I was just trying, listen. There.
I see. Yep. Except
I
about
just want to make it more clear as to what the topic was.
So I talked about how I was really proud of some things that I've been doing and some things that I've been tackling. And then to follow it up the very next week with the amount of things I did for this party, which we don't have to talk about because we've already discussed it. I don't know what happened to me. It was as if I was multiple people doing multiple things at the same time. I was in every room of the house. I like ascended to some sort of level of existence that I didn't.
That's
was
what
craziness.
I was going to say. I was. You were
Literally everywhere.
Have you seen Soul yet? Whether you have or not, you were in the zone. You ascended out of your body, and you were in that world, that aura of I am here, but I am present elsewhere, like in so many places doing so many things. Like you looked different. Like I looked at you and it was like, oh, she is whatever the gif is of the all the equations and the, you were in
like
loaded.
the calculating
Yeah,
meme.
yeah. You were in
Yeah.
lotus position, ascended, and just taking care of everything.
It's
That was
different.
the feeling I got.
The project in this case is different. Like project last time was just assembling, organizing my pantry, which thank freaking God I did because I knew where everything was. But it was like next level. So you walk into one room, there's like 6 or 7 people discussing something around a table. You walk in the next room, there's 4 or 5 people discussing something else. And you go into the next room and there's 3 children, 5, 4, and 3, all doing their thing, and an infant that is going from person to person or sleeping. You've got some people in the basement, and you've got dogs that are afraid of noise and fireworks, so they're being drugged and cuddled. And everyone needs food or drink or attention or something, And so, and the kids, oh my God, they need all kinds of things, but it's amplified when you've got just the energy in the house. It was like fireworks inside, and then you would turn around and go outside. We'll talk about that in a second, but you go and it's just more fireworks, and it was this culmination building all evening, just this energy that was just amping up. And I just rode that wave. I mean, there was a moment when the kids lulled and they wanted to go outside, and I just thought, I keep tubes, those shipping tubes for like posters and stuff, the long ones that are really thick. And I have all of these various shaped balls that we've collected, both tennis balls for the dogs, but then also like just other sensory balls from when Iris was little. When we get stuff, sometimes there's just like various little balls that come with it, and I keep all of those. So we ended up playing an impromptu game where each of the 3 children was holding a tube and funneled it through the slats in the porch. And I was down on the patio, and they're shooting balls on the patio, and I'm running around grabbing them and throwing them back up to them. And it's just like the squeals and peals of laughter. And they were screaming so happily and so loudly. I was sure someone on the other side of the sliding door could hear. No one could hear because on the inside, everyone's having conversation. There's food everywhere. And when something would, and then I'd walk into the house and I would see that the chips were getting low or something. I just go around and fill, and I was literally everywhere. It was
add to
insane.
this the fact that you are doing massage therapy on all of your guests as well.
I actually gave almost every single person a back rub. They're like, what kind of a party is this where I come to your house and you also massage my back? It was amazing.
Yeah. My one of my favorite moments with the kids was just how into the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse songs they decided to get together. And
thank God for that.
it
right?
was one of those things where like they had this game they were playing basically, where when the song would come on, they'd all, get up and dance around and jump and scream the lyrics or whatever. And then as soon as it was over, they would just scurry back to the couch and take their seats. And it was
adorable. So at the end of the evening, the kids were we were all getting pretty tired, and the fireworks were about to start. And last year, for all of them, they were really afraid of fireworks, but they had been going off throughout the day. They'd been at the pool, and so they're going off while they're at the pool, just literally 500 feet away. There's people putting, throwing off fireworks. And so they had kind of been a little desensitized to the explosion sounds, which was a relief. So it was a madhouse hosting. When we got to the evening, I was like, is this going to go south where they're all crying and terrified like they were last year? But I think it was just enough noise and activity that we were able to actually enjoy the fireworks too. But we had Mickey Mouse going during the fireworks. So they would be watching Mickey Mouse, figuring out what was going to happen on that show, running to the windows, peeking outside, opening the door, looking at the firework explosions, and then coming back around. It was just this activity filled. And I know we talked about this last week, so I'm not expecting a lot of interaction or anything, but I think what I wanted to say is there are just these kind of moments in time where you really surprise yourself. And I genuinely surprised myself. I've hosted parties before. I've been MC at a party before, and I've organized events before. It's just been a long time. And I've not done it in my own home with my kid. And 22 people, that's my family. Like that was mostly family. I only had 3 friends over.
No.
And we just haven't seen each other. And this was the first time for a lot of them to see each other all in one space. And so there's just this energy of just excitement of reconnecting was there. And it was like I don't know, it was one of the highlights I think I'm going to have of this house was our first true like fireworks party. It's a lot and it was exciting. And at the end of the night, my husband announced that we were going to do this every year. So I have that to look forward to.
Well, I will tell you on the way home, my wife said, I hope they do this every year. So there you go.
We are apparently going to do this every year. Give me a second. I need to take another drink.
No, it was amazing. You did good. I would love to hear, as far as responses go, I think there's something a little bit, topic adjacent that you're talking about being in the zone of something. Like, when's a time you remember just like, oh, I am, what is that thing that you get in the zone with, whether it be hosting a party or, like you're kind of outside your own mind and you're just, doing it. For sports, there's a lot of that in sports. There are, moments of performance. I remember a particular performance of Pygmalion in high school, where I just felt like I was in the zone and I was the character, and like I didn't have to think about my lines or like it was all just in there. So there are those moments where we have times when we're in the zone. So yeah, I'd be interested in hearing people's opinions on that if there are any.
Yeah, this would have been good. What I should have done is I should have messaged you this morning and been like, I am literally just a zombie moment.
Yeah.
What do you think I should talk about today?
Call the cranberries. Today is a zombie.
Ooh, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I hope you guys have the zone moments. It's a really good point too. You do sort of just like get into the zone and then you come out of it and you're like, okay, that was literally the entire day. Mm-hmm. Where did it go? It is gone now. And
you kind of have like bits and flashes, right? Like there's, because you are so in the moment of every moment and what is needed of you in that moment and what you're doing in that moment, you almost look back on it as if it happened to someone
like
else.
A dream. That's what I'm saying, is it feels like someone else. It feels like I have a bird's eye view of me just walking around the house, even though it was, me straight out. And there's also something else too, when you get to a certain point where the people around you, there was no like crazy fighting. And even my husband and I we're just doing stuff. Mm-hmm. We didn't have to think too much about it all. It just we all just did our thing. And one of the other great things about moments like this, and I really genuinely hope you guys have them, is Justin and I were talking about the different things we could also do. And I said, you know what, though? We're going to have a house full of people who are going to want to help. And every single person that came over said, what can I do? And so it was just to make yourself comfortable, grab stuff when you see it. And people just made themselves happy. If they needed something, they would go grab it. Or we always had a helpful hand, which was also
it's like, hey, there's a donut box here. I wonder if there are donuts inside. And there were. So I ate one.
Good. Yeah, Justin picked up the donut box at the end of the day and was like, wow, they were almost all gone. That's amazing. And like bags of chips. I think it was 26 burgers and like in the teens hot dogs and like root beer floats and bags of chips and veggie trays and watermelon. I mean, it was a lot, and it was almost all gone by the end of the day. And that's also really cool when you plan and you get the food right. That's always really cool.
Elizabeth says, we're typically working alone in the store. So I had 5 different customers and I was able to get everyone situated and get them in and out of the store in a timely manner.
Yeah.
That's the ticket. You're just like, you're here. You need this. I got you. Here's your, totally good. Totally good.
And you're able to get their engravings done as well. See, it's just amazing what we are capable of. I do have to tell you, Aaron, and anyone who has a child, Iris is still asleep.
Yeah.
It is it's 9:30. She's still passed out. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited about that. Because y'all, it might be a situation. Today's show might be the first show where Iris just walks in her PJs and is like, because she's home today. So
we'll see. Could be. Yeah. Yeah. My wife is home today off work as well. So, might be the same kind of situation here. No.
Greg says, in the zone moment when I have those headsets on and get ready to do a radio show, I'm totally locked in at that point. That's bad, though, because I have co-hosts that want to talk to me, and I'm just like, I'm in the zone.
Maybe you need to expand your zone to include your co-hosts. There you go.
Yeah, zones are interesting when everybody else disappears and potentially they shouldn't.
Yeah. I like this from Breezy Lady B. Heard at the food table. If we are out of buns, just use the burger on a donut. Yeah, do one of those. I mean, I wouldn't do that, but I hear some people like that kind of stuff.
Oh, gosh.
So there you go.
Yep.
Let's see. What's Nick have to say? I was playing the Kingdom Hearts Sephiroth battle. He's the hardest boss in the game, and my roommates slowly started in to watch. When I beat him, they cheered, and I didn't even realize people were watching. That is exactly what we're talking about.
That's fun. Like, you just kind of turn around.
Video games. I have definitely been in some video game zones, Tetris zones. I have been in Tetris zones where it's just like the world just disappears and it's all about what the next piece is and where it goes and how you set up the Tetris and is the line coming soon. Like, yeah, I've definitely been in some video game zones. That's a good one.
Yeah. And sometimes not the good kind where you're like, oh, my dogs haven't been let outside for 8 hours.
It's Thursday already.
I need to eat something. My body's mad at me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's a fun experience. Definitely a fun experience.
Oh, see, Jets is saying that it was very Midwest of me to say that the donuts, to use donuts as buns. I didn't actually say that. Someone else said that. You forget, I didn't actually get to sit down at any tables yesterday.
Danae, you don't know this, but if Danae were to pan down to her feet, she actually just has nubs below her ankles now.
Just rotting around.
Just absolutely wore her feet down.
My 90-year-old grandmother was here yesterday, and she kind of got to see the family. This is probably something I should have thought about talking about more, and maybe I can ponder this for another topic. But I think it was neat for her to see the family still getting together, still celebrating, and just all the fun. And she's at that age where she can't get up and move around and join us at different rooms. So she just kind of got to sit in the comfortable chair and observe and kind of be served. And there was one point in time I came over and said, do you need anything? And I sat down and she's like, oh, I think I'm going to have some dessert next. And I was like, okay. And I went to get up and she put her hand out and she's like, no, not just yet. You can just sit here for a minute and talk with me. And I was like, oh, I do want to sit and talk to you because I didn't get a chance to socialize as much.
Yep.
But that was really cool. I think she could kind of tell, as somebody who's hosted many parties herself, that when you're the host, you don't really get to just chill out in a moment. So it was awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I felt like I was in the zone when I presented the table with my 3-step program.
Okay, we're moving on to Aaron. Oh, what? I'm just
3-step pro.
I just muted him. I really appreciate you guys being here on the show. Did you freeze or are you just so mad you're being really still? Oh no, I don't know how to unmute you. Okay, I got it.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. It's just funny because you think things that aren't political are political. That's all. There's nothing political about what I was about to say. I literally
am just giving. I don't know what you said at the table at all. I'm just giving you crap. Go for it. Tell everyone.
No, it is one of my favorite things, and I do kind of get in a zone where I'm like, listen, our conversations about government and the idea of how governmental systems can be helped and changed doesn't have to be a political, partisan conversation. It can be a conversation about what reforms help everyone to have a better government. So I presented my 3-point process to destabilize polarization in the American political process. So,
yeah. There was a lot of interesting discussion happening in every corner of the room. My favorite discussions I came in on were the ones that were happening between the 5, 4, and 3-year-old, though. Those were fantastic.
Always. Those are always the best.
Greg does ask this, which we can do before we move on, which is, could you please tell me about the dessert table? I need to know in depth what was on that table. I think the dessert, so the dessert counter. It's a cool marble counter, and there were desserts all over it. It was very chaotic. There wasn't one specific table. It was just a chaos. There were bags of chips and remnants of trays of like vegetables and all this kind of stuff. But then like intermingled in there was there really?
To the far left was Nutter Butters. Right after that were the Oreos. Were right after that. Gosh. There was some sort of pecan cookie.
Oh yeah, that's on the other side. I was thinking on the opposite
so those
side.
Three cookies, Those three cookies were side by side.
Side by side.
Yep, and then you had the box of donuts.
Box of donuts
was there. Then you had the bags of chips. There was a vegetable tray sitting very lonely on the end. But
then behind that was a big bowl of dessert my mother made, which is
the strawberry shortcake.
She calls it crack kinda. In the chat. She called it strawberry crack.
It's delicious and you can't quit eating it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's a vanilla pudding, and is it angel food cake? Mm-hmm. And then strawberries.
And then there was the plate of beautifully decorated cookies, like star cookies, square cookies with like beautiful decorated icings. So yeah, that was pretty much what was going on there. There was another kind of like, I didn't have any, but it was like a cake kind of dessert. Like maybe it had blueberries on it.
Oh yes. That was some kind of a streusel someone had purchased, a cake streusel. And they had put some fresh strawberries or fresh, blueberries in it as well.
Look, if you need to know the layout of the dessert spread, you know which of us to ask. I'm just saying there's one of us who probably was very aware of the dessert spread.
Nick says, you're making me sad. I just assumed that Danae would have 12 different tater tot
Not a tater tot in sight.
No
Not
tater
a tater tot in sight.
This morning I woke up and I thought I should have had some sort of noodle salad. Some kind of a cold noodle salad I could have pulled out of the refrigerator, and everyone could have had a noodle-based salad at one point.
Welcome to human nature. I absolutely slayed this party. What's the one thing I could have done better?
Noodles. A noodle salad.
Noodles.
I didn't even think about tater tots. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry to disappoint.
Ready for the A topic?
Let's do it.
When's the time you willfully put yourself in danger the most? I want you to think of a time in your life where you said, yep, I know this is dangerous. I'm doing it anyway. Now, for me, somebody who is very danger averse, these stories are few and far between, but my biggest one does involve the 4th of July. I did help set off a citywide fireworks display. My brother-in-law's family is in charge of their city's fireworks display, and they needed an extra hand to load the bombs into the cannons. And, I did that, and I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die that night, but I did not. But, yeah, I don't know if you know some of those, like they are concreted in, this big bombs that you lower in by the fuse. And then, Three-Fingered Pete comes by and lights all the fuses, and man, the explosions were insane.
I overheard Jen, my friend Jen, explaining to someone that where she grows up, they set off massive bomb fireworks, right? Mm-hmm. But one of the people that trains the kids on how to do them first puts a firecracker or a stronger one inside of a potato, lights it, and they all watch what happens to the potato. And he says that's what happens to your hand if you don't let go. And nobody is injured because they're like, oh God, because you can see the damage. Yeah.
But it's just like the first one, I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. The second one, I had the thought for the first time. Wait, didn't just something just explode in this tube? Like I'm putting another live round into a tube with embers in it? Like what is going on?
It's going to immediately set on fire.
Yeah. So yeah, that was probably my the most I ever willfully put myself in danger. Let's see. Nick says, My wife, girlfriend at the time, and I went whitewater rafting in college. We didn't know what we were getting into, but once it was too late to turn back, we were like, "Oh well," and it was insane. Yeah, whitewater rafting feels
It was
very
too
dangerous.
late. Yeah, what are you gonna do? You're in it.
Turn off the current. Turn off the river. We're done.
I don't know. How do you not know what you're getting in? Did someone just say we're going to go rafting and we're going to get in? That just is confusing to me. I guess until you know, you don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. That does remind me of the time we were at, my wife and I, before we were married, we're at Cedar Point. I think it was before we were married. And we were on one of those rides that takes you up and then drops you several stories, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And she did not enjoy it. It was her first time on the ride, and it felt very rickety to her. And she was just like, this is not fun. And it just holds you up there, and like it randomizes when it drops you, so you don't know when you're going to drop. And she just did not have a good time. So we get down to the unloading, and we go past the unloading still in our car. And the person was like, well, this happens every once in a while, just enjoy your second ride. And she was like, nope, shut it down. I want off. I'm not doing this a second time. And she literally had them shut down the roller coaster to get her off.
Get it. Okay,
yeah.
That reminded me of something I forgot about, and it's super on topic. I thought I was going to talk to you guys about my stunt motorcycle driving days, but we're not. Okay,
that would be a good one. That's a good answer to this question.
That is the answer, because the story I'm thinking of, it was not intentionally putting myself in harm's way.
Okay, and that is the question.
That's the question. So I will.
The motorcycle stuff is willfully putting yourself in danger.
Yeah. And I guess I just told you. So that's that.
Yeah.
I will. You can ask questions. We could talk more about it if you want to. But that's my answer. Is I used to do stunt motorcycle riding. My mother is in the chat going, she hated it so much.
As she should.
There's a I have two stories locked in my brain. Let me just quickly tell this one about the rollers.
The two stories are battling in Danae's brain right now. One of them wants to get out.
So one time I was on a roller coaster and the bar didn't click down all the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I didn't realize it until we were going. And it was a loopy. And
they're supposed to check that, man. That's on them.
When they came and they checked it, it wasn't all the way down on my lap. And I remember thinking, like, I'm going to push it down a little more, but it was locked where it was. Mm-hmm. So I knew right out of it that I was going to have to actually hold on to survive the ride. I don't remember where I was. It was absolutely terrifying, though, because it was just enough room between the bar and my lap that I could slip out. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, I'm literally holding on to this thing. And thankfully it only had one loopy.
Yeah.
Jeez, that was terrifying. Mm-hmm. It's amazing though, I hulked out on it and just held on for dear life. I felt
she's
myself
going over the loop. She's hanging from the bar.
I literally felt myself sliding out of it though. And I just kind of like gritted down and hunkered onto it. God, that was terrifying.
Well, as someone who has been over 6 feet tall since the age of 10, I don't remember many roller coaster rides without bars that
hurt your legs.
Out of. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, that you could slip out of, or no? I
don't remember any roller coaster rides that I felt like I could slip out of the ride. It's usually the opposite. For me. Yeah.
So, well,
right,
I mean,
kind of looking back through here.
I guess we'll just start here. So yes, I dated this guy named Brian, and he had a motorcycle and he was really analytical about it. And we both were in martial arts at the time. So we were always very competitive and very body aware and very balanced. And so we started riding on the motorcycle together, and we were like in perfect synchronicity. We could go around really tight turns, and we just both knew how to balance really, really well. And so we got more and more and more experimental as we continued to ride together all the time. It was just what we did. My mother will remember this one. There was one day that we met them somewhere, and we were driving from point A to point B, and we were riding in front of my mom and dad's car. So we had these signals that we would give to each other back and forth that were non-verbal because we were on a motorcycle. And so he taps my leg to do the signal that when it's time to go, we're going to pop a wheelie. So I'm prepared for it. And so we go and he goes, "Wheer!" And we just, we're up on this. And I could hear my mother screaming from the closed car behind us. I was so delighted at the time. And now I'm like, I'm so sorry, Mom. But yeah, we did stunt riding. I would stand up on the back of the motorcycle and with my arms out and balance. We used to actually be able to switch places where like while we were riding, I could go around the left side and face him and then turn around and go on the right side and face, like just do a full circle around him. Wheelies. We could do some pretty interesting tricks. So yeah, it was a lot of fun because it required so much concentration and such a connection to balance. And I loved that part of the control of it, and it was a rush, obviously. And then one day, one thing happened. There were no injuries. There was nothing wrong. The bike didn't fall over. It was just we brushed up really close to something that could have been really, really dangerous. And we both instantly stopped. We never did it again. So it was like, okay, let's not do that anymore. And that's
be glad your warning was a non-injury warning because it's not that way for a lot of people. So I don't understand that mindset. Like it's
danger.
It's just like that rush you're talking about is not a rush for me. It is.
No, you get it when you run on the treadmill. It just comes to you differently.
My adrenaline spikes when I'm driving over 65 in a safe vehicle. So yeah, I'm not built that way. JCD says having to stand in the bucket of a skid loader, front end loader tractor is a time when he's willfully put himself in danger. Yeah. Greg says going to McDonald's in the middle of a tornado warning in college. So tornadoes have been spotted. And Greg's like, hey, guys, let's go to McDonald's.
Or see, when I started reading that comment, I stopped before tornado, and I just thought it was willfully going to McDonald's.
Going to McDonald's.
Was the answer.
That's the last time I willfully put myself in danger was I decided to hit up the Golden Arches. Let's see.
Oh, Slab says willingly jumped into my car and drove towards a tornado without knowing where it was. Luckily, I took a wrong turn and it missed it by a quarter mile.
Nice.
I've done some storm chasing in my day as well. That was dumb. Just straight up dumb, guys.
Yeah. Let's see. Elizabeth says, I decided to go on one of the drop rides to face my fear. Worst idea ever. I had a full-on panic attack halfway through the ride.
No.
Very similar to what I was talking about with my wife, except for her, she did the ride, and then they were going to make her do it a second time, and she was like, nope, you're wrong. Stop it.
Good for her, though. I feel like there was a time in my life when I would have just been like, okay, I can endure this. I'll just make myself go through this again so that I don't put somebody else out or a massive group of people who are waiting to get on the ride. I would have put all of their needs above my own. I'm always really impressed with people who just like, no, I'm not going to do that. I think now I would do it, but most of my life I wouldn't have done that.
Matt says cliff diving in the Hiawassee River as a teenager. My dad's response to the video went, well.
Yo.
Cliff diving is legit. Again, another thing, jumping off of high places into water. Don't understand it. Never have.
Nope.
They made me do the high dive in my swimming lessons when I was a kid. And I was like, this is dumb. You all are morons. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I've never really enjoyed that. But the motorcycle thing was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
No,
wasn't.
it super was.
It wasn't for me.
That's
it wouldn't
the
have
thing.
been for me.
Right.
I would have like, pull this over right now, mister.
Right, yeah.
Our relationship is over.
I'm walking home.
That's right. No, legit. We were on a lake in a houseboat with some friends. They had like jet skis or, whatever. Just the kind you sit on, not the kind you stand on, the kind you sit on and drive around the water. And I was like, nope, not happening. I it's just all I see is death, and I don't want to die. All I see is death, and I don't want to die. So that's what it comes down. Meanwhile, my wife is like, yes, and she's out there just like ramping over the wake and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah,
fun
I
in
don't
quotes.
know why I was such a weirdo with that.
You're not weird. Listen, people are built differently. It's just like
I would have
thought.
Like, here's the thing: if I was back in that, I would have done it again because it was just fantastic. It was fantastic.
Okay. Here's the thing. I have one example of something that and again, it's because I don't see it as dangerous. I would love to skydive. To me, that's to me, that's an exhilaration that isn't dangerous. Standing up on a motorcycle is dangerous. It's legit. You could kill yourself. Like skydiving, you've got a parachute on. They fail very, very, minuscule amount of times. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
So I don't see that. That's that would be the same danger as just driving your car normally, or
I think it's just the fears that you want to face. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Or the dangers you choose to face.
Yeah, I just think people are built differently. I would think, however, that evolution would eventually result in more people who see death everywhere than people who embrace the fear. I would just think that would work itself out over a few generations. But
here's one from JCD who says, skydiving? No. Diving with sharks. Thank you for trying to censor that for me. Hell yes, you do. I mean, obviously I would never, that's one I would never do.
How
Ever.
I don't understand how diving would be like less scary than skydiving. Like there are no, if I skydive, there's nothing in the sky there's no animal in the sky that is going to do harm to me. You know what I mean? I may hit a bird on my way down.
Bird, yes, I was going to say the passing bird, although it's not hunting you, it could be very bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have done scuba diving, and I did not find that dangerous. That's another situation where, I mean, other than being environment aware of animals that are under the water, but yeah, I haven't. I have heard of pigeons. I have heard of pigeons. Yes.
Man, last night though was insane at our house. Just a quick little nod over to I think the inspiration for Aaron's story today.
I should have mentioned that. Your neighbors are insane.
It was absolutely insane. So I think we're assuming, we don't know, that the neighbor that was doing the big display actually either owns a fireworks display place or I don't know.
Broke some laws. Because some of the stuff they were setting off, I've only seen in citywide like displays. Like, I mean, they had a finale firework that, I mean, it must have gone on for 5 minutes, and I'm assuming they had one light point or maybe a couple light points, but it's like hard to coordinate that stuff.
You guys,
and it just kept going.
Here's
and
the
going.
thing: they're going off, and the trail of the spark is like touching the rooftops of the houses in our neighborhood. It was absolutely bonkers, and it was, I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of, and not like when people say it was $1,000 of fireworks, right? It wasn't like there was a whole bunch of sprinklers. It was citywide fireworks display stuff. And so I live in this interesting neighborhood where I live on a triangle, and all the houses face in to this open piece of land. And it's not very big. It's probably like a block, right? Mm-hmm. A little triangle block. And in that is our little neighborhood pool and a lot of open places to have picnics and things like that. And that's where they're setting off the fireworks. So our house is facing in towards this. And so you literally have all of the neighbors out on their lawns, in lawn chairs, just watching whatever anyone else is throwing up into the sky. And we were told when we moved into this house that it's nutty, that it's baddie situation. But last year was pandemic year. And so we're like, okay, that was pretty okay. This year, you open the front door it was as if someone had put a screen in front of the door and they're just showing fireworks. It was just right in your face. You open the door, you walk out, and it's just right in your face explosions, which sounds really cool. But when you think about it, and Aaron, he was wiping shrapnel out of his hair.
Yes. I did have embers land in on my head, and they were heavy enough that I felt them. Aside from the one neighbor who had like the one, $10,000 piece of pyrotechnics or whatever,
Whatever that was.
Your neighbors directly, beside you also were setting off some, pretty big fireworks, and those always scare me because they're in those tubes, and you just set the tubes on the street, right? You're not locking them down. I suspect, I could be wrong because I don't buy fireworks. I suspect the instructions say that you're supposed to
like fortify
tamp
them.
those down and fortify them before you set them off. And there's a reason, because if those fall over, people die. So and so
people die. Aaron.
So am I wrong? Like if one of those explodes in your chest,
No.
game over.
It was a lot. And it was literally if it tipped over, it's our yard.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So your neighbors directly next to you were like, hey, let's set this up a little bit away from us. Oh, right in front of our neighbors who are watching. It's like,
it was crazy.
I was like, I wanted to put up like a barricade or something. But I was it was so funny because I couldn't concentrate on the fireworks in the air because I am just staring intently at the tubes, making sure if one of them tips that I can jump out of the way. Because again, all I see around me is death.
Oh God. It was wild. It was crazy.
I'm sorry. So I can quickly move my wife out of the way. I said that incorrectly. I apologize. I just wanted to be clear.
100%. It was a lot. Next year, I guess we kind of build some sort of,
that would be hilarious.
all of the clear wall. I just have like a fish tank for my family.
Like a deer blind, like some sort of like group deer blind where we're all staring out the little crack looking at all
the places
fireworks
that are taking down those, half walls because of pandemic, we can just take these down now. Like, just give them to me and I'm going to construct this sort of igloo dome shaped safety thing with air holes, of course, guys. I'm not horrible. Yeah.
I see death everywhere, and it's fun being me.
Yeah, fireworks are insane. I'm not sure. I mean, yes, we're doing this again next year, but we'll have to figure out how to.
I like Cesar's instruction: wear inflatable hamster balls.
There you go.
We'll just get some of those.
I do also want to say my mom wanted to leave at some point in time. However, every direction to exit had people in the street putting off fireworks. So it was literally are we driving over these ambers? How are we leaving? Because you're stuck.
When we pulled in at 5 p.m., your neighbors a few houses down had to clear the road for us. They already had stuff out there. Like we came in and it was like a smoke screen. And we were like, what are you doing? And she's like, we're doing our, pre-evening smoke screen show,
Our ordinance is 10 a.m. is the earliest you can set up a firework. In fact, I'm guessing that you're going to hear something in about 3 minutes because exactly 10 o'clock in the morning yesterday. In the morning, yes, you can't see any of the actual fireworks. It's just you're just setting off bombs. 10 o'clock exactly is when the first one went off, and it was a massive explosion. And so, it's like
I was awoken several times last night. People in our neighborhood were setting them off until about 2 a.m. At least. So, yeah. Yep. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
You ready to go to you questions?
Yeah.
Shall we do that?
Yeah.
Right.
You guys, anything goes. So you can ask any question. Doesn't mean we're going to answer any question, but we will do our very best to get to as many as possible. And if you've already put one up in the chat, we're going to scroll back up and try to find them, but you can always add them again. Just put a U in front of it so we can see it easily.
All right, we'll start with Greg, who says, on July 4th, what is the time of night where you say, this is ridiculous, people shouldn't be shooting off fireworks at this hour? I'm going to try to approach this keeping in mind everybody's view on this, not just my own, because mine would be much more restrictive probably than is fair.
You start at 6 and you end at 9.
Well, no, it's barely dark by 9. I would shift that to like 7 to 11 if it were just me. But I think midnight's fine. I think, it's once a year. I get it. I mean, I don't get it, but I try to see it from other people's perspective, and it's enjoyable to them. But after midnight, I think that's fair. You have the 4th of July. You have the 4th of July. After midnight, it's the 5th of July. You're done. That's my opinion. So, Danae, what about you?
I think that it gets ridiculous after midnight, personally. I just think then you're really not considering that people have kids. But yeah. Last night wasn't too bad. Everyone was really respectful, actually. No fireworks
in your neighborhood.
In our neighborhood. Yeah, we didn't have anybody.
Your neighborhood was all done. And we're driving back, and we see in the direction of our house just huge fireworks still going off. And we're like, oh, it's our neighbors that are the craziest. We get back, and they're still just like sending stuff up. And like I said, major explosions. It just kept going.
I do wish that it was restricted to just like maybe 2 days, though. I think it's supposed to be
1. But
and mostly because just my dogs do not do well. They literally had to have this special kind of like dog treat that has a natural just chill out ingredient to even survive the evening. And so it's a lot. And I think people who have like PTSD, and there's just so many people who really suffer throughout this holiday. It's hard. I kind of want to add even more restrictions in a way.
I mean, you could move to states that have restrictions. I grew up in Michigan.
No, I'm not going to move just for that. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm just saying it's not this way everywhere.
Yeah,
I grew up in Michigan.
It really is crazy here.
And the most you could do in Michigan were like snappers and poppers, and everything else was only through. You had to get certification and to do a show and that kind of stuff. And I like that. It's so different. It's just different. It's so completely different, in a place where it's like, hey, go buy all the boom boom stuff. And it's just like, oh, okay. So
yeah,
I've had to get used to it. I will say I saw a funny tweet, I believe, that said, baby, you're a firework. You look terrible in pictures and my dog is scared of you. So.
Ow. Wow. Danger Sweet asks, is Aaron drinking out of a discard oxygen canister?
Yes.
No. That's a specific water jug he purchased that has all of his measurements for how much water he's supposed to drink in a day. He drinks that every day. One of those a day. Is it a gallon?
It's a gallon.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And if I could do the same with my food, I would. But it doesn't work that way with food, unfortunately.
Do you mean like you would just put it in a big canister and like drink it?
No, I just eat it throughout the day. Like here's all my food for the day. I'll just eat it throughout the day, and then when it's gone, I'm done. Those are my calories. But
let's explore this a little bit more.
Sure. Go ahead, explore.
Like a sort of like a soup, or layers where
it's
a quesadilla layer.
So, do you want to talk about the real world or my magical world?
Magical.
Oh, in the magical world, yes, I would reach into the container and pull out just whatever
like
I was hungry for.
A bag of holding, you would just pull out what you're hungry for.
Right.
And eat
So
it.
I want a cheeseburger, I'd pull it out. Well, that's that many calories. So now when I pull something out next, if I go, I want a piece of pizza, it's like, sorry, there's not a piece of pizza in here.
It's calorie based.
Right. Yeah.
So you have so many calories loaded in, and you just you do 2 donuts and you're done.
Yeah. It's like, what else is in here? Oh, a piece of broccoli? I'm good for the rest of the day.
Because I kind of wondered if you meant that it would regulate it for you and just say, here's your next layer that you get. And then you can kind of flavor it however you want. So let's say
that too.
I want this layer to taste like pizza, and even though it's not. I was thinking something liquidy, like oatmeal, like a flavored oatmeal. Sure, I was thinking.
People live this life, by the way. When you're independently wealthy, you hire a nutritionist, and people just put food in front of you, and that's what you eat. You know what I mean? Like
the wealthy,
this is a real world for some people, but like I just, for me, that's why I love this. Is I just know this is the water I'm drinking today, and I would love to do the same for food, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
I think it's just amazing that you even count your calories. I don't. I'm not
It
disciplined enough
becomes
for that.
second nature after a point. Like I know if I grab a donut, I'm grabbing about 200, 250 calories, especially if it's glazed. If I'm grabbing a piece of pizza, it's about the same. If I'm grabbing a candy bar, that's 200 calories.
I stopped listening. I'm sorry.
A bowl of cereal for me, because I like big bowls of cereal, is about 500 calories. So,
Great.
yeah.
That's awesome. Good for you. Did you guys have any other questions? I am looking.
Yeah, I saw a few.
It just, man, my screen just popped.
You're fine.
Okay.
Did we do good burger recipes from JCD?
Nope.
Planning to make burgers today and wondered what everyone suggests to mix with the meat to add flavor. First of all, the flavor is in the meat itself. But yes, I do understand seasoning your burgers.
Justin, he started seasoning our burgers with just like a regular, like a little shaky thing that he just shakes onto the burger.
A shaky thing. That'll help JCD out quite
mix.
a bit.
It's probably called something. There's probably a title to it. I don't know what it is. But we actually make a marinade for steak, and I really like it whenever he does the burgers on that too. And I can send you the recipe if you'd like. It involves a lot of ingredients, and you just blend them all up and mix a decent amount, and then we keep it on hand for steaks and burgers and such. It's what I prefer because, yes, meat's supposed to taste delicious all by itself, but to me it doesn't. I like to have a little flavor on my burgers.
No,
Otherwise,
you're not. I'm the
I'm
weird
just like-
one. I'm the weird one. Totally.
Well, you're flavor averse for reasons, not because you're a jerk, because your tongue failed you.
There was an interesting situation. My wife brought a new sandwich home for lunch. It was like a brisket melt. It was like a brisket melt and had two types of cheese on it. And there were just so many like it was all stuff I would like, but it was just there were so many different tastes that I was just like, I can't do this. I think there were onions as well, which I don't mind onions. Onions are a fairly neutral taste.
Still delicious. In fact, Slab recommends putting grilled onion inside the meat. That's one of the things that Slab is recommending to you, JCD.
Yeah.
Something to consider.
I recommend going to Five Guys. That's,
Question from Breezy. What time did the party end last night / this morning? I think the last person to leave was Jen. And I want to say it was 10:30 or 11. And we cleaned everything up and we're in bed pretty quickly. So it wasn't too late, actually. We've stayed up longer as a family. We've definitely been up to midnight before as a trio. Whether that's smart to do with the little one or not, I don't know. And that's we're just doing our own thing. But I it feels like we stayed up until 3 o'clock in the morning. Like our bodies are sore, and the fact that Iris. So this morning, Justin, he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go run and do some stuff for work, and then I'm going to come back. So I'm going to take Iris to childcare because she'll fall back asleep there, and that way you can get up and get around. I'm like, okay. So he gets her out the door at 7. He scoops her out of bed, takes her to the car, takes her to childcare, and like 8 minutes later, he's back with her and puts her back in bed and says, yeah, they're closed. So she actually was awake, fell back asleep, and slept until almost 10. So, nice. Yeah, we're all pretty tired, as if we had stayed up way too late.
Yeah. I did want to mention a couple other suggestions for JCD. Cesar says, add a bit of beer to the burger mix. And Greg says, you have to try peanut butter on your burgers. And to that I say, I don't have to, but if some people might like that, that is certainly something you can do. Nick says I have a 7 to 8 hour drive to quote unquote look forward to from upstate New York back to Pennsylvania today. What's the best way to pass that time with 3 children under 8? I have experienced 3 children under 8. I've experienced 4 children under 8 and doing 8-hour drives. And I think the answer is, unfortunately, personal mobile devices.
I wondered. That's amazing.
No, for us, because honestly, those didn't exist with our kids. For us, it was finding a way to watch a movie, in the vehicle. And then there are fun games you can kind of play with the outside world of your vehicle. You know, we've all played the alphabet game, or, you know, one that maybe you haven't played is Bury Your Cows. That was one that, you know, I used to play on long trips.
What?
So you never play Bury Your Cows around here?
I mean, maybe someone did.
Do you want the rules? Do you want the rules to Bury Your Cows? This is such a Midwest game. So Bury Your Cows is a game while you're driving. Anytime you see cows on your side of the vehicle, so you play against the other side of the vehicle.
Okay.
When the cows are on your side, you count as many of them as you can before they're out of sight. Okay. And you have to count them out loud.
Okay.
And so that's your running score, is to, you know, count those cows. If you see a cemetery on the other side of the vehicle, you can say bury your cows and they have to start over. So
that is such a Missouri game.
Listen, it was a Michigan game.
Because if you're doing interstate driving though, are you seeing that many cemeteries? I would think that you would see cows, but I don't know that you would see cemeteries.
You'd be surprised. I can tell you because we played this game here. There is a cemetery right off of 60 on the left as you get towards 65. Like you'd be surprised at, you know, the cows in the cemeteries you see even on the interstate. So yeah.
Whoa. Oh my gosh, that's really interesting. I was gonna say, like, I was having memories of longer trips when I was young, but my mom had more time to prep than one day. However, maybe like a quick trip to the Dollar General store would be something that you could potentially do. But my brother had a plastic bin and I had a plastic bin, and it had all the different things in it that we could open up and play with. There was snacks. We had the invisible drawing sheets, you know, where you have the weird stinky pen and you just kind of color it. And
I used to love those.
Magic.
We call them magic books. Magic books,
Yeah.
I think is what I used to call them. Yeah.
I can't remember. There was also little workbooks that had puzzles that you could do, like little games and stuff. Really, like the little cheap ones where you could try to move the little ball maze type stuff. So it was all really tactile, but that was before mobile devices. So I can see the benefit of that. I think if I was going to take Iris on a longer trip, she loves to draw. So we have like a drawing pad back there for her. It's one of the ones where you can press the button and it clears the screen, kind of like a new Magnadoodle. And she'll literally draw for 30, 45 minutes. I don't know that she'd play a lot of games. We play I Spy and things like that. And then I'll download episodes of Daniel Tiger and things, but rather than have her watch it, we tell her it's a podcast and we just listen to it. And she loves that. She'll be like, I want to listen to the Daniel Tiger podcast. And so she doesn't realize that she could actually watch it, but we're just choosing to listen to it instead. And that way it's not always about watching things, and she can kind of at least work on the part of her imagination. Because we had these, you know, tapes or things that we listened to growing up where it was a theater of the mind, just different characters that were talking back and forth to each other. And I think there's something really important about trying to develop the imaginative part of our minds. So, but I think Bury Your Cow is a must now, and we have to know how that goes for you. So please play that game and tell us how it goes.
I will tell you I will tell you what to be prepared for. Be prepared for long stretches where nobody is counting or saying bury your cows. It is kind of one of those games that pops up throughout the trip. So like it's kind of one of those, you know, every once in a while somebody will pop up and go cows, and then that side will count, and you know, and then
It's kind of gets exciting.
And then every once in a while, one side will go, "You missed a cemetery," because you know,
like no.
So
Sonic says we used to have these plastic cards with window sliders with images on the other side, and you would close the window when you saw the image. Oh, kind of like a bingo.
Yeah, it was like a travel bingo. That's exactly what it was.
And see, even if you only have a day to prep, those are things you could print out, or you can just even draw and put like a sticky note over it. It doesn't have to be, you know, if you don't have a lot of time to prep for it. Sonic also says, or the memory game where you went down the alphabet and you said what you were taking on the trip. Does that mean like you had something associated with every single letter of the alphabet and you had to remember
Correct.
it all?
You had to remember. You would go around in a circle. So like, yeah, I'm going on a trip to such and such, and I'm taking an apple. Well, I'm going on a trip to such and such, and I'm taking an apple and a banana.
Oh,
So,
wow. That's fun.
Yeah.
I
And you
think
could
those
do
are
it like
really
a
fun.
certain topic, you know, like if you wanted like fruits is what I just did, but could also just be anything. So, yeah.
I guess there's also conversations about drugging children happening in chat. And I just want to point out that my mother apparently agrees with someone, drug them. Mother, did you drug me? Was that an option for you? Did you do that? We need to talk about that. I'm curious.
We do. Yeah. Got some stuff to work out. Well, thank you. Thank you for all the you questions, for all the hangout time this morning. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys.
Yes, we do.
It is awesome to hang out with you all.
Cheers to you
and
all.
have these times on Mondays and some days.
Before we go, for my friends over on Twitch, I will instigate a raid. So hang out for a second and I will make sure that we all get to go to some place together.
You're such an instigator. Such an instigator.
Well, I know our podcast is ending, but the Twitch show shall continue.
As always, you can check out the stuff down below if you want to follow us on the socials. If you want to make sure you hit subscribe, hit the bell, whatever the case may be, whether you're watching at YouTube or Twitch or the social network that shall not be named book. You can do any of those, and you can also support. You can join Team DNA. It's a simple $5 a month, helps keep this show going and provide for fun new stuff, including a possible D&D campaign once we get to 41 members of Team DNA. And I will tell you, the 36 current members of Team DNA are begging you to join because they've been waiting for a while for this D&D. You can check all that out at patreon.com/studiodna if you like. And we'll catch you on the next Monday or someday.